Alright, got my 10,000 microfarad cap this time instead of this little guy right here for the time being. Voltage on the cap 738. Let's see, let's juice that up real quick. Alright, hopefully that's not going to fidget. So about 785 on the cap, 7.85 volts. Got the air cap hooked up, radio nearby. Hopefully you can hear that little click. Running a very slow blink. At that very slow blink, this will pretty much never run down. At least not in the time that we have. I believe before I went to sleep last night, I left it at a frequency about this right there. And I wanted to see if it would still be running when I woke up, and indeed it was. And it still had about between 5 and 6 volts left on the cap, which is pretty awesome. So, but that light right there is at the very lowest level of usefulness possible. So I'm going to turn it up. And even that, while it could be potentially useful, I'm not going to sit here and try to watch that run down. So I'm basically going to use my fingers to try to find a frequency that is going to give me good, usable, bright light from these LEDs. Maybe not 100%, but somewhere in between 50% or maybe higher. And see how long it takes to run down this cap that way. So it's hard to use my fingers, but you can see about that right there, not quite. Something like that right there. Something like that right there, you have real useful light. It's like keychain light bright. And I'm not actually blowing through this cap as quickly as I would have imagined. So hopefully you can tell, but with my fingers here, I'm trying to maintain a relatively consistent frequency here. So this is obviously not going to be a legit rundown test where we see how long this is, but I'm personally just trying to get a general idea of how long I can get useful light like that from this cap. And freaking meter leads. Let's go back. So that would be like a low. I would have that on my low setting, and I would make, yeah, about that right there would be like the high for this particular capacitor. If I use maybe a 1 farad, I could probably use this as a medium setting and maybe try to crank about 100% brightness out of that to get the full, which I could do if I lick my fingers right now. But we're just trying to get an idea of how long I can get this good, decent light out of 10,000 microfarads with this little bobbin toroid combo core here. Camera really likes to go in and out of focus. All right, here we go. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. That is an annoying hum. But it's just so you can hear the relative current consumption slash frequency going on here. Some cameras can be a little deceiving, and what would normally be like this right here, um, this which is blinking right here, and you can easily tell from the sound of the radio. You might not be able to tell from looking at the actual LEDs. So let's try to continue this drain here that we were doing. I'm not sure how long this is going to take, but I would imagine at that brightness, as long as I started at around 8 volts, I don't see why I wouldn't get over 5 minutes of runtime. I really don't see why I couldn't get over 5 minutes. Now, one thing that I've noticed is a little confusing to me. I haven't messed with any of this stuff in a long time, and I come back to it and I see I'm interested in this SJR looper, and I feel like I'm seeing some light coming out of these capacitors that's just not physically possible. And I start playing around with it, and I start to see that maybe it is actually physically possible. But from what I can tell, and maybe I'm missing something, but I don't see a whole lot of other people messing with this right now, and this seems pretty amazing. So I don't know why Lasersaber is really the only one that, from what I can tell, uh, get really good results from small capacitors. Now that's the only other thing that's confused me. From what I've seen, he was able to use very, very, very small capacitors to get minutes of runtime at a brightness that is similar to that, at that level, or maybe even brighter. But he's not using 10,000 microfarad caps. He's using maybe 470 microfarad caps. So that I don't understand. And I say that because it seems like what he's moved to now is the wind up torch light that takes with 5 seconds of dynamo charge will run for 5 minutes. And so that's pretty similar to what I'm seeing here. I can get about 5 minutes runtime off of what I would imagine to be about a, it's getting too hard to hold this here, but from about a 5 second or less charge from a dynamo. So we're finally running down now where you can hear the frequency drop, and I'm not going to get the same amount of light. But I'm still getting pretty decent light from the 2 volts that's left in this cap. And if I lick my finger, let me lick one of my fingers here. Yeah, a little bit brighter. You hear those harmonics this step down? I really like that. I'm just gonna I gotta hear that again. Uh oh my god, this is gonna take too long. See, there's your full brightness. I'd lick my fingers to get it all the way down. I just want to drain it down as fast as possible so you can hear these harmonics here when it gets around 2 volts and below. It's really cool. God, even at the full brightness, it's definitely taking a little longer than I would have thought. All right, we're getting there. Getting there, getting there, getting there. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty. Not very long.